There was a redevelopment of the old Victorian police station in the 1990s. And during that redevelopment, they, depending on who you talk to, knocked through a fireplace or into a storeroom and uncovered a series of police documents dating from the 1840s all the way up to 1919. There were quite a lot of them, but they were in very bad condition. And it was one of the developers took the material up to the local police station, and thanks to a policeman with local history, the material most of it ended up at the Stortford Museum, but a percentage also ended up at the county archives. And from then on, the collection has been held with the two organisations.
Yeah, we were given case studies by the museum about a soldier who came back from war with shell shock, and he shot himself and had to go to court. So we created graphic novels for that. We were given 2 double-page spreads.
Because it's for a museum as well, they've made a point that it has to be sort of bang on, everything's got to be
very
right.
accurate, and they actually were very helpful for each of our individual stories.
We got
these
information,
lots of information. How the costumes were, how the helmets were, even the teacups at the time, the tables, everything.
And it's like we had to send off the comics to be sort of like proved by the museum.
Yes.
And it's like even the feedback from that, it was like came back with this sort of like, that isn't the sort of beer tankard they'd use. Actually, it would be this.
Hats, I drew loads of hats wrong.
Yeah. Which was
pants. I drew the wrong pants. I got a guy. They're like one of my billeted soldiers. He's sort of stood on top of a bar. And he ain't got any trousers on. But I drew him like Y-front kind of things, but they had to be more like longer boxer shorts. And he's got like a little garter on his socks and stuff as well. But yeah, so little things like that you have to keep changing. But I think it's good. It makes it authentic and stuff, and it makes it look better as well. Because then now he does look better, my guy.
There's everyone's who's in the exhibition. Everyone's styles are very different, and I think it will be interesting as well to see these different stories illustrated rather than something that you might read in a history, like look in a history book and see images of.
I think using digital is quite interesting because it's taking these older stories but giving them a new way of doing them, because we've seen them done in paintings and in drawings of the time and of the time since, but because it's the 100-year anniversary, it's interesting to do something with a new medium like the digital artwork.
I have to say, working on so many things about the First World War has really gotten me interested about the period, and it's actually, you think about it, you never really pay much attention to it when it's such a, to me it feels like such a distant history. To some people it feels like very recent. And I think it's really nice to have worked on this project. I've sort of become more aware about this period. It's not completely forgotten. I think that's really important, really. So I think that's the whole point why we're actually doing this graphic novel, is to sort of make people aware about what actually happened at that time, how many people died, and not to forget what actually happened. So I think that's been an important thing for me.
It was a unique challenge, but I think if you've got guidelines to work within, and there's things that you have to include and you have to adhere to, then it just means you have to be more creative. It was just a truly great opportunity that I'm thankful that I got.
I think that the actual subsequent work that's been done by the students and by Nancy and Vicky has been beyond my wildest expectations, and I am really, really looking forward to seeing the end results on the wall in the gallery.
Inside out till the boys come home. overseas there came a pleading, help a nation in distress, and we gave our glorious laddies honor bade us do no less.